You never know what your team members deal with at home that try to come with them to the office. We always say, work life, personal life, keep it separate. But sometimes things happen in personal lives with our team members and with ourselves that it leaches onto us and it attaches itself to us that when we come into the office place, we still carry those things, right? When you affirm someone else, my leaders, my entre leaders, it shows them just how valuable they really are. Just how valuable they really are. And again, you should be affirming others after you affirm yourself. Hey, entre leaders, and welcome to the 27th episode of the Leaders Lab podcast. Today, we are going to continue on with I guess we can call it a series of ways to affirm your team. And, last week we actually gave 8 ways to affirm your team. And one of the first ones that we talked about was practicing spontaneous praise. When you plan to give someone praise, it can kind of take away the overall effect. Like, they'll be like, oh, okay, well, this is our monthly review session or quarterly review session. So I know that you're going to tell me what I did well and what I didn't do well. And so it's kind of expected. But what about the times when you come and you talk to your team or, there's a member who is they're doing an outstanding job and you want to let them know, spontaneously, like you just want to tell them about how well they're doing. Or if you see another team member who is struggling, but they are really, really, really trying to do their best in a chaotic time, you definitely should give them praise. You should share that. And so we're going to be talking about that. But just in case you do not know what affirming someone is, and let me just go ahead and address the elephant in the room. As you can see, my surrounding is a bit different. I am away on business in Hangzhou, China for the next couple of weeks. And so on the Leaders Lab podcast, if you're watching the video podcast, you will be seeing this type of background. I may try to get a little fancy and do something different, but it is in the morning time. And so I'm trying to get this episode done and recorded before my day gets going and I don't have enough time to do it. And so if you see me looking down, if you're watching the video version of the podcast and you see me looking down, it's because I am looking at my notes on my iPad. I didn't want to just hold them in my hand, but I'm looking at my notes on my iPad. So if you see me looking down, that's what it is. Okay. All right. So what does it mean to affirm someone? We defined this last week, okay? We talked about what it means to affirm someone, and Merriam-Webster defines it as to validate. It's a verb, to validate, and it means to state positively and to start to assert something like a judgment or a decree. And this is, when we talk about decreeing things, giving affirmations for ourselves, it's usually about stating what we want to see happen, right? But when you affirm someone, especially a team member, you want to show them that they are appreciated. You want to point out the good things. You want to decree and give positive judgments or positive statements about what they are doing well. And also about any attempts to do things well that you may see. You should just never underestimate the power of affirming your team, okay? Now, why affirmation is important? It's important because it nurtures communication. It nurtures communication when you affirm someone, especially a team member. If you're affirming them, that makes them, they're going to want to come to you even more because they feel like you have a listening ear, or you'll be more receptive to an idea that they may have, even if it's an idea that may not work well. The fact that you're able to listen to their perspective or to listen to their ideas, to even consider it, it opens up that communication. It opens up that dialogue. And when there is open communication, then we can begin to foster trust in teams. So There's so many benefits that come with affirming your team members. And today we're going to be talking about ways that we can practice spontaneous praise. I said this last week. I said, unplanned praise may hold more value with a team member than that scheduled or expected praise. And also unplanned praise can actually encourage innovation. If think about this with a child, right? With a kid. When a kid is, they're playing with their Lego blocks, or they're doing something, and they're creating something, right? And you walk by, you say, "Oh my gosh, this is so awesome. This is really cool. Did you make this by yourself? Did you create this on your own?" And the kid, they're just like, "I did." They'll start telling you about all of the things that they did just to get it to look the way that they did. And they feel so good about your praise for their creation or your praise for their creativity that they're going to do it again and again and again. And this time when they do it, they're going to say, "Mommy, Daddy, look," or "Auntie," in my case, "Auntie, look." So it's the same way. It's the same way when you affirm someone or when you show appreciation for their creativity, it fosters even more creativity and makes people want to do more. And so, that is when we do practice spontaneous praise, that's one of the benefits, which is it's mutually beneficial. You have someone who wants to continue on with creating innovative ideas and bringing things to the table, and then you have you as the leader who you're benefiting from that. So it definitely goes hand in hand. And then, there are some other ways to say great job. Now, before I give you the top 20 compliments to give your team, I do want to give you just a few ways. I think I have maybe about 7 ways to say great job. Because, we say great job a lot, right? Or great work. Well, there are a couple of other ways. Okay. We can call these synonymous sentences. Okay. Synonymous sentences that you can use to say great job. So one of the things you can say is outstanding work. Wow, this is outstanding work, right? Another thing you can say is you've truly gone above and beyond with this task. It's another way of saying great job. You can also say, I wasn't sure if we could pull this project off, but here we are at the end of it, and you have really done such great work. Great job, right? Another way you can say it is you really set the bar high with this one. You really set the bar high with this one. Another way to say great job is I appreciate your consistency and efficiency with this project. We're so fortunate to have you on our team. That's another way to say great job. Also, I don't know what we do without you. And of course, some of these are actually compliments. These are, good compliments as well that could be in the top 20, but I have other top 20 compliments to give. And then also, you could say, you are such a team player and we need more people like you. You are such a team player. Great job. We need more people like you. I said this last week. I said that teams could be more effective and have a higher rate of job satisfaction serving a leader who affirms them, encourages them, and motivates them to serve in a greater capacity, in a premier capacity. And one of the ways we can do that is through giving spontaneous praise. So if you are ready to take some notes, here are the top 20 compliments that I'm going to share with you that you can give your team. Okay. Now I'm just going to give them 1 through 20. I'm going to go straight down 1 through 20. Okay. Here we go. Number 1. Not only do you find a way to get the job done, but you do it well. Not only do you find a way to get the job done, but you do it well. Compliment number 1. Compliment number 2. Thank you for always being someone that I can count on to participate in our team meetings. And you always provide a different perspective. Okay, I'm going to say that again. Thank you for always being someone I can count on to participate in team meetings. And you always provide a different perspective. That's a good one because you don't always want someone who is going to, be a yes man or a yes woman. You don't want someone who is always going to agree with everything that you say, especially if there is, another way to accomplish a task. And that, There's just so many other ways that we could accomplish maybe this task in the office or this project. And if you're the only one, as the leader, if you're the only one that is giving your perspective, but you're not pulling on your team's creativity to find out, well, what do you think? What is your perspective? What angle do you see this from? Then you actually do your company, you do your organization a disservice when it's just you. That's why you have a team. You don't need a team if you're going to be the only one that's navigating this thing, right? Yes, you are the leader, but other people's opinions, other people's input, it really makes the difference. Okay. I'm sorry. I said I was only going to just tell you the 20 and not go in, but I mean, that one, I kind of felt something with that one. Okay. Here's the next one. Your work ethic truly speaks for itself. Your work ethic truly speaks for itself. Actually, I'm just going to expound on these a little bit, okay? When you see a team member, when you have someone on your team who, their work ethic is just, it's powerful. It's excellent. They come in, they do what they're supposed to do, and they go, and sometimes they go above and beyond. They don't slack off. They really, really care about the project. They care about the team. They care about the task. That's something that you should praise, and not necessarily just in public, because we're not just talking about public praise, right? We're talking about private praise as well. So making sure that you acknowledge someone's work ethic. Say, yo, you have some really outstanding work ethic, and it speaks for itself. So that's something else. Another thing that you could say is, we'd be lost without you. Especially someone who carries the load a lot. You have those team members who, even though they don't operate in a leadership capacity, like, that there's just leadership potential within them. And so when they're doing their job and they do it well, let them know, listen, we'd be lost without you. This lets them know that they are an asset, not a liability. They are an asset to your team, and their presence makes a difference. Okay. All right. Next thing is number 5. I could see how much effort you put into this task. Excellent work. Especially whether the task may have been carried out exactly the way you wanted it to, regardless of, regardless of the way that the task was completed. If someone has put in a lot of effort, make sure you acknowledge the effort. Praise the effort, praise the effort. It helps. It helps for a team member to see that, oh, okay, well, I know, my way of doing this may not have been exactly, the best, because I was trying to do my best, and that's the thing. When we praise someone's effort, we're praising the fact that they tried to do their best, not that they got it perfect. Because when you focus so much on perfection, then if for any reason a task isn't completed by the standards of perfection, then that team member or the whole team is going to begin to feel like they are inadequate, or they're not doing well, and it could actually really, really, really kill that team morale, that worker morale. So we don't want to do that. But what we do want to do is we want to praise the effort. Wow, I could see that you really put a lot of effort into this. Great job, great work, excellent work. Okay. Excuse me. Number 6. This one I really like. I really, really, really like number 6, because this is something that I've had to use myself. Okay. I know it's been a bit crazy around here lately, but you've handled the stress with grace and patience. Especially if you work in an environment where, it is chaotic. There is a lot of chaos around. It's just so many different things that could go wrong. You want to let them know, I know it's been a bit crazy around here lately, but I admire the way you've handled the stress with grace and with patience, instead of being impatient, instead of being like, well, I don't have to take this, I'm tired of this, and and just, quitting or keeping a poisonous mentality or poisonous attitude in the office atmosphere. Praise them for saying, you know what, you've been handling this with grace. I mean, and that could even turn into admiration. Like when you tell them, you say, I admire the way that you've handled this with grace. And I've learned a bit from you as a result. And you don't have to go too deep into anything. You don't have to, take this, compliment and draw it out into a long conversation. You don't have to do that. But it is nice to acknowledge the fact that someone is handling a stressful situation in a graceful manner. Okay. All right. Number 7. This is one of my favorites. You are such a great communicator. As a communicator, I really like that, right? You tell the team, you are such a great communicator. You answer emails, you respond to emails. You don't wait several days until I've been guilty of this myself, but but you don't wait several days to respond to an email, or when there's a problem, you make sure that you address it. You come to me, or when you have an idea, and telling someone that they're a great communicator helps them. It helps them to see, okay, my communication methods are working. And maybe if the rest of the team members aren't really good with communication, maybe I can kind of give them some tips. Maybe I can give them some pointers. Maybe I can help them to be a better communicator with our leader. Number 8, I admire your creative perspective. You help me see solutions from different angles. This kind of goes back to what I was saying before about having a team that, it's only your perspective. Your perspective is the only one that matters. Nobody else's, opinion can be, or perspective can be shared, or because you're the leader. So what is the point of having a team if you're not going to draw from their perspectives? If you're not going to, ask for their input, there's no use. There is no use. Okay. So letting your team members know, I appreciate your creative perspective because I wasn't thinking about the task in this light. I wasn't seeing it from this angle. And your perspective, your creative perspective, your unique perspective helps me to see things from a different angle. When you, as a leader, can see things from a different angle, then you can begin to introduce solutions that you may not have seen before. Solutions that you may not have had mental capacity to think or create before. So that's why it's good to give compliments like that. The next thing is, I love your confidence. This could be for a new team member, someone who's very eager or excited to join the team. This could be for, someone who's been with the team for a while, whatever it is, but you can let them know, I love your confidence. Number 10, you've been a great addition to the team. I've actually said this to my team last week as we were ending out our finals. We finally finished in my module. We finally finished. But this is one of the things I was sharing with my team members. Listen, I am so grateful that you were with us this semester. You have been an excellent asset. You have been a great addition to the team. Okay, so that's a good one to use. Number 11, I'm excited to work with someone with your experience. So if you have a new team member, they're coming in, they're bringing in a new experience, they're bringing in something fresh to the team, let them know, let them know in the beginning. Don't wait until they do something that's necessarily praiseworthy, but let them know early on. I'm really excited to work with someone with your experience, and I look forward to seeing how your experience will contribute to this task or to this project or to, our overall team, our overall organization. Number 12, I like this one. Thank you for being flexible. Please don't neglect to understand the power of flexibility, especially with your team members. People have things to do. People have lives, okay? They have things to do. They have their own lives. And, sometimes when you're working on a project and you have to stay over much, much later than anticipated, let somebody know, hey, I really appreciate the fact that you are willing to stay behind. You're so flexible with your schedule, and I know you have this to do. I know you have family and all of that, but I just want to let you know that we really appreciate your flexibility on this team. And it doesn't necessarily have to just deal with time or schedule. Sometimes it can just really deal with the fact that they have a flexible personality, or maybe they're able to shift roles when necessary. So flexibility is something that you definitely want to give praise for. The next thing is number 13, having you on the team makes an unimaginable difference. Okay. And you can use any type of adjective you want to. You don't have to say unimaginable, but I like that word because that means I can't imagine what not having you on the team would be like. Having you on the team, It makes such a big difference, such a huge difference. And we appreciate you, you know? Okay, so number 14, just when I thought your work couldn't get any better, honey, you do this. Like I said, just when I thought that you couldn't get any better, you do this. This is awesome. This is amazing. This is spectacular. This is fantastic. Okay. All right. Number 15, thank you for always being willing to lend a helping hand. When you have that team member that's always willing to help, you know, whether it is training a new team member, whether it is doing administrative tasks that is not a part of their like responsibilities or duties, or any other thing where they're so helpful, praise them for that. Thank you for always being willing to lend a helping hand. I really appreciate you, right? All right. Number 16, it's inspiring how thorough your work is. Honey, when you have somebody who is thorough with their job, I mean, from creation to completion, they get the job done, they get the task done, they stay focused. Definitely praise them about that. It's amazing how thorough your work is. Like it's admirable how thorough your work is. Okay. Number 17, you are one of the most reliable members we have on this team. People who are reliable, do not overlook them. That means they show up, that, you know, regardless of what happens, like you can always count on them. And sometimes as a leader, you can take that for granted. And when we start to take things for granted, we start to misuse it. And when people feel misused or abused or overlooked, they will start looking for other alternatives. And so if you don't want to lose that, if you don't want to lose that reliability, that accountability, make sure that you acknowledge it. You know, hey, you are one of the most reliable members that we have on this team. Thank you. I appreciate you. Right? Okay. Number 18, we're almost done. Number 18, the way you pay attention to detail is a gift. When someone pays attention to detail, that is something that's first of all, that's an asset to the team. And it's a blessing to have. Okay. It is beautiful to have. And you want someone on the team. Maybe not everyone is going to pay attention to detail. You may only have one or two or just, you know, a few, and that's perfectly fine. As long as you have those people who see the details and, you know, instead of just looking at the overall big picture, they take a step back and they say, okay, but what's going to happen here in step one? How do we break down everything in step one? And we complete each task, each detail for that before moving on to the next thing. Those are the people that you definitely want to let them know that you appreciate them, because they are such a great addition to the team. Like, you need those people that have an eye for detail. And so telling them the way you pay attention to detail is a gift is a wonderful compliment to have. Number 19, your work never ceases to amaze me. This is letting someone know that, listen, I know you go above and beyond with these tasks. I know you go above and beyond with these projects. And I mean, every time you produce something, every time you submit an assignment or you complete a task or you complete a project, I'm just looking like, so it does get better than the last thing? Because here I am thinking that you can't get any better, and you're proving me wrong. Like, it just never ceases to amaze me how amazing your work is. It's awesome. It's so awesome, right? Okay. Lastly, number 20. I just wanted to let you know how much you mean to the team. And I mean, it doesn't even have to be past tense. You can, it could be present tense. I just want to let you know how much you mean to the team. And then if you want to let them know how much they mean to the team with additional compliments or praise, you can pick out just a few things to expound upon and share that with them. That could make someone's day. Like, you have no idea how much that, how beneficial that could be, how transformational that could be. That could be the thing that activates someone encouragement on that day. You never know what your team members deal with at home that try to come with them to the office. We always say, work life, personal life, keep it separate. But sometimes things happen in personal lives with our team members and with ourselves that it leaches onto us and it attaches itself to us that when we come into the office place, we still carry those things, right? So, letting someone know, giving them any one of these compliments. And of course, there's so many more. And I would love to hear some of yours. Drop a comment below telling me some of your compliments that you would give to a team member, or if you are on a team, what are some compliments that you would like to hear from your team leader or from your boss or from your employer? What are some compliments that you would like to hear? When you affirm your team members, and even if you are a team member, you can affirm your coworkers as well. When you affirm someone else, my leaders, my entre leaders, it shows them just how valuable they really are. Just how valuable they really are. And again, you should be affirming others after you affirm yourself. Like I said last week, before you affirm someone else, make sure you affirm yourself. And one way that you can do that is by grabbing my copy of 31 powerful affirmations to transform your mind. The link is in the description box below. And if you are listening on the audio version of the podcast, you can also check this out in the show notes. This is something that I do with myself. I affirm myself so that I am empowered and charged up to affirm my team and to affirm others. Listen, I want to say thank you so much for tuning in to the Leaders Lab podcast today. Don't forget to subscribe to the Leaders Lab podcast, download today's episode, rate, comment, and share so we can continue to reach millennial global entre leaders all across the world. And don't forget, you can also connect with me on social media. Everywhere is at Dr. Charity TV. That is Instagram. That is Facebook. On the Facebook page, it is at Dr. Charity TV page. Twitter, YouTube. We have LinkedIn. Everything is at Dr. Charity TV. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you guys next week in the lab.
Thank you for listening to the Leaders Lab podcast. Visit our website at www.drcharitytv.com.